Recording is in progress. Let's see here.
Sherry, I've got to put you on hold for a second, okay? I'm going to disappear for just 1 second, okay? Go ahead.
Okay. See, we got 1,000 on the web, and of course our calls are maxed out. Let's see. Land of Man, I'm going to mute you out for a second. We'll bring you back in just a minute. And Art, if you'll mute out, please. That way I don't have to. That. And okay. So, wasn't yesterday just a little poo-poo storm? Didn't I kick some up? I kicked dust up everywhere. Oh, disclaimer. Definitely the disclaimer. This is just our opinion, only our opinion. We're going to make mistakes ourselves, and we are not responsible for your mistakes. We're not professionals. Seek professional guidance. We're idiots. After yesterday's call, you're listening to the head idiot. So we're not going to address the MCA right away. We've got some people that are going to come in and talk about it. So if we don't get to any callers today, please listen to the information that we're bringing in. The gentleman that brought in, yes?
I'm sorry to interrupt. That was a call from from Silverado, that the Twitter feed out is incorrect. And this is like the third call that I've gotten. So, Bodie, this is your deal, honey. I don't know. Can you figure that out?
The link? Yeah.
I can't get into Twitter today. Bill sent that link because I just got in from lunch. So I apologize. I am unable to help. Is there anybody I could email it to that could forward it on?
So we're going to just have to strap you up and beat the hell out of you.
Well, I totally forgot the password. What a tough morning.
but hey, listen, I promised to use those nylon ropes, so I won't leave a scar.
Well, I had a great lunch. Do you want to hear how good my lunch was?
Anyway, so for people that are trying to connect on Twitter,
hold on. I just got a text from somebody's Twitter feed is working from his tweet. So I'm not sure what's wrong. Oh, Twitter feed is working, web is not.
The web
I'm not sure. I don't know. Can you retweet me there, Dance Man? You get it off the Twitter, and what do you mean web isn't working?
I have that one too.
We have 1,100 people on the web, so obviously it's working.
I don't know.
Okay, so this is what one of our members sent to me. That it just goes to the Instant Seminar web page, and this is what she gets. Now, when I sent this out, I just copied what was, on our banner, and it's event instanttelseminar.com !event 810-879-60C.
Hang on 1 second. I'm trying to get myself. It opened up for me just fine.
Okay, well.
So tell them to please try again.
I just got a text that said I just got a text from text that says the web is working, so I don't know.
Well, let's just move on,
Okay.
Yes, let's move on. We are okay. It might be their computer.
Yeah. So, Jerry, I apologize, though. Did you give all the disclaimer and everything?
No, I don't remember.
Jerry, this was like 3 minutes. Okay, so
well,
you
know that
give the
that's the first part.
disclaimer?
That's the great thing about, what do they call that? Oh yeah, I had a senior moment, and I love it. I like it.
I know you're all excited.
So
anyway,
we're not going to talk about, as I was saying, we're not going to talk about the MCAs right away. We've got a few things to tend to. The information that my friend brought in was okay. It just wasn't current. That's the difference.
Chair.
Yeah. Yes.
Remember what we discussed.
Oh yeah. Well,
we're going to go through.
Yeah, Martha won't be in today.
Right. Darn it.
Okay. So
that was
I was
like
just
a big part of it. But
right.
We're going to go through our guest hosts first.
Right.
And then we're going to get to this. Okay.
Blondie. I'm just doing a little housekeeping, that's all. So we've got some people to come in to kind of clear up a few things. That way, because from yesterday, I've got my Band-Aids here with me. I've got my bandages. I've got my Blue Moon, because I'm still ailing from the tire treads from the bus that went over me forwards, backwards, forwards again. And that was just the first bus, not to mention the 30 behind it that rolled over my ass. I'm still hurting. So I've got the Band-Aids. I'm good. Now, that being said, who do you want to start with first? Do you want to start with the lady?
I want to start with Landaman. Here's what we're going to do. Did you all get that? The command and that my voice? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through our guests for like a quick update, and then we're going to get into this controversial subject and then we're going to have a guest and Jerry's special guest, and then we're going to address the MCAs, and then whatever else follows. But first off, I want to get it to Landaman, because the poor guy, now I would say nose job, but it really wasn't. He had sinus surgery yesterday, and so he's under the influence. Let's go with that. How about that?
He had seen a surgery yesterday?
Sinus surgery. Yeah. Well, we can go with that, Jared. We can do that. But let's go with sinus surgery. So he's, graciously come in to sort of
come on,
explain
let's get to it, Blondie. Let's get to it. Stop beating around the bush. Landaman, come on in.
All right. I don't know how I sound.
Perfect. 5 by 5.
She said, oh, good. She said I'm hopped up on LARTAB, so I'm going to try and put this stuff into some sense of, put it in order so it's easy to understand, because Doug jumped around a lot yesterday and gave a lot of information, and I think it spooked a lot of people, and some people took some things out of context, so I'm going to try and put it all together here. Give me a few minutes. First of all, Jersey came on and talked about their funding, which apparently they received notice, and we've known this for a while, that they've the transfer's in place, goes through the system, and they're 100% sure it'll be spendable either today or tomorrow. Until it is, you never know. I personally had international transfers based on bonds that have had to sit in my U.S. bank for 10 days for waiting for it to clear, just because of their risk department needing to sign off on it. Their attorneys all needing to back check everything. So it can be a very long and arduous process. So I'm not at all surprised. But we'll know today, tomorrow, if in fact they're spendable. I'll know for sure. Then Doug came on and talked about kind of the whole RV scene and the way they see it. Understand this is the way they see it, and they're no different than everybody else. They're working off of all the information they have, which they'll readily admit is not all the information. which none of us have, which is why we hear all these great stories and think, okay, things are going great, we're there, and something happens or something doesn't happen because we were basing it off, partial information. Anyway, he basically said that the historical assets and the currencies are essentially two sides of the same coin. Everybody tends to look for the guru that's telling them what they want to hear. And then they gravitate to them and kind of disregard what they don't want to hear. And not that that's a good or bad thing, but we should be cautious and, try and be honest with ourselves when we're looking at this information. What do we believe? What don't we believe? What do we just not want to believe? And we'll probably be better off in the long run. That's all he was trying to say. Then he went on to say, when we hear about this, it will already be done. And if it's printed, it probably isn't accurate. The information that's out there is information they want us to be out there. It's information they want to be out there. Historical documents, really, when you hear that, think debt relief. That's what it's for. It's to settle all the debt, international, down to the personal levels. That's what this whole thing is based on. Like I said earlier, the intel providers are all speculating based on the information they have. None of us or them are at any of these high-level meetings, so we have to take what information comes out and try to extrapolate or speculate. That's what we all do. That's what everyone's doing. Everybody comes here, the different gurus, the different, people, and try to give the best information everyone has. We all want to get there yesterday, and we'll get there soon. We'd love to be there tomorrow. Will we? Here's hoping. But they don't believe it'll be a shotgun effect, that it will be done in stages. And that what he means by that is it won't be an announcement and then it's done. Or if it is an announcement, that announcement will come after all of the initial stages are done. Things are not always as they're seen or shown in the public. And for information purposes, what we're exchanging between us is public information. So it's not a lot of the insider information that we try and get our hands on and once in a while come across. And the private parties that have done their exchanges do not have spendable cash. They've got SKRs sitting in the bank, which is very interesting. I mean, what's the reason for that? He thinks the reason for that is to keep the groups moving forward, keep everybody and their currencies in place so that it can hit the account. Honestly, my personal opinion, I think they have done it because they can do one of two things. They know that it's going to happen. So by putting these currencies in their accounts as SKRs, they can hold on to them as asset reserves. So it goes to, their asset sheet at their bottom line as the revalued amount. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. That's just my personal belief based on what banking procedures I know. And don't get caught up in the day-to-day rumors. Also said that the crux of this whole thing is the global asset account needs to be secured and settled. That means every country has to have their asset account settled. The countries have to trade back and forth. They got to figure out how much is sitting where. Not to say that has to start. That may have already started. That may have been going on for quite some time between countries. Just keep your expectations in check. When we see currency transactions go through with spendable funds, then you'll know a little bit we're there. The number one thing that has to happen is the countries of the world have to be secured and settled before anything else can happen. Now, he believes that means asset-backed. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. It makes a lot of sense. And if the rumors we're hearing about TRNs being issued and being sent out to various other countries, other centers is true, then that would indicate that has already taken place. And money, also understand that money has to move in an economy. It doesn't matter how much money sits in an economy. If it doesn't move, if we're not buying and selling stuff, nobody benefits. So the whole idea behind this is not only to get funds out there, but to get funds out there that are being spent. And as long as they're backed, asset-backed, you've got an item or an asset that secures that, then you don't deal with the inflation issues that you do when you're simply printing money. They still believe it will be this quarter. They also believe it'll take a month or so from the time it officially happens. And what that means is at the bank level until it flows down to us. But they also went on. Jersey said, now they're just common sensing this. They don't have any intel or information that leads them to believe that. They just believe that by the time it starts, the big groups go in and the different things that have to happen, things tend to take longer than we want them to. So their personal belief is could take as long as a month. Also, that month is from the time, like I said, these things are happening. So if anybody knows of exchanges that have actually taken place, then you've got information that they don't have. And if that is in fact true, then we're farther down that road, and we could be at that any moment time frame. He also went on to say, once the train has left the station, so to speak, we know we're simply waiting our turn. Countries out of the way first, and until this is done, they don't believe RV will be announced until the tail end of that. So I think we're talking about apples and oranges here. A lot of people in the chat lines and the different spokespeople, if you will. So understand that everyone is talking from different points of view and with different definitions. When one guru says it's done, does that mean countries are done? Does that mean it's time for us? What are we talking? So our definitions tend to be a little off. So keep that in mind when you're listening to these things. What are they exactly, or what are they truly trying to say? And also, we're all speculating. Everyone on this call, everyone on the Lambda calls, everyone on the TNT calls, the Bruce calls, everyone is saying that we are there. We just don't know whether we are there means, we've gone asset back, whether it means we're going to be doing exchanges tomorrow or in a month. And honestly, to that end, does it really matter? Once we're there, once we know people are exchanging and we're in line, I do honestly believe we're all there. But my biggest point, or if I were to break this all down, I'd say understand that they don't have all the information, but they do have a lot of good information. They also said that I was going to make another point. It just left my mind.
Well, that's inexcusable, Landaman.
Yeah, thanks. No,
I don't feel so bad. Gee, Jerry, it was only 3 minutes ago.
I was going to say the fact that they have received their funding, all this stuff is based on historical assets. The fact that they have received their funding would indicate that from that standpoint, from that point of view, we're there on the initial steps. So, their honest opinion is we're there, but it's going to take a while to get to us. Whether that's true or not, who knows? And by us, are we talking about, G64 group? Are we talking about the Internet group? Are we talking about, the Admiral group? So just don't get too caught up or wound up by this stuff. Take all the information you can, put it together and move forward. But their belief is, this thing.
Thank you, Landaman, and especially in your delicate condition. I hope your nose heals well, my friend.
Yeah,
I'm not being facetious there, sweetie. Just appreciate you coming in. Hang with us if you can. We're going to move through the host and then get into, I think, what's going to be a really heated conversation.
Yeah.
So if you can stay with us, please do.
Landaman.
Yes.
Can you just give my special guest just showed up. Can you give a short synopsis of what you just talked about? Because I want to bring him in next.
Sure. All I tried to do was break down what was a pretty long explanation of Lambda. When I say Lambda, I'm referring to primarily Doug, as well as Jersey, which everybody knows is that. What they were discussing yesterday on their call, which was they believe, and this is just a common sense belief, taking the information they've got, that we're really close. Things are there, things are happening, but that they think from the time, this really starts rolling out until the time we're in doing exchanges could be as much as a month or so. So just don't get too wound up or caught up in the day-to-day rumors. Just be cautious and be patient. It is happening.
Thank you, sir.
My
special caller, you're open. Would you like to come in, or do you want to wait a little bit?
I'm fine. Good afternoon. I'm here.
Be cautious. Be patient. It is happening.
Oh, you're going to have to turn your computer down in the background. We hear the delay.
I'm actually on my cell phone.
You're open. Oh, that was Wolfie. Never mind. I'm sorry.
I'm going to have to spank Wolfie for that.
Anyway, I just had Landaman repeat because you came in at the tail end of his call, and I didn't know if you wanted to add anything or just sit on the sidelines and listen.
Well, I didn't hear everything he was saying, but there at the end, I do agree with what he said, as far as being very cautious. And, you know, everything that I'm being told is that we are at the very end of this, and, you know, it could be a couple weeks for exchanges to start. I have heard that as well. So I do agree with what he said. But I've also heard that exchange codes were sent to the bank from my banking sources as early as this morning, and they're expecting exchanges to start this week. So we'll see if that happens. It's been a very liquid situation, and, you know, things do change. So we'll see if that unfolds. I hope it does, for everyone's sake.
Thank you, sir. How about we go on to somebody else? And then if you want to kick in there, go ahead.
I was just going to say, let's go down the list of our, you know, our usual guests, the usual suspects, get their little 30-second spiel, and then we'll get into what's going to be
Shall we start with Rockstar? Come on down.
Yes, start with Rockstar. Let's go down
hey
the
guys.
list here.
Hi. Yeah, you know, I think that we've got a lot of overlap and interpretation from the same primary intel sources now. We've kind of graduated in a way to you know, people such as myself who are relatively newcomers have gotten turned on to more direct intel sources. And I think a lot of the older intel sources are now speaking to more of the, you know, call them gurus. I hate that word, but folks that are being listened to. So we've got a bit of overlap concerning the same intel and various interpretations of that, and it comes out through people's own filters. If people are conservative, they're going to come up with a conservative interpretation of the intel. If people are optimistic, they're going to come at it from their source. My own take on everything that I'm hearing is that we are the process itself, the RV. The realization of everything moving forward finally at a unified pace probably started a couple of weeks ago at the international level, at the big deal level. You know, things like getting the oil countries aligned, getting OPEC on board, getting everybody to finally take China seriously. You know. And also Russia, quite frankly, take them seriously because you know, Putin's been portrayed in the American press as something of a buffoon, and obviously he is not. He's the leader of one of the most powerful countries in the world. They're a very proud people. They've contributed a lot over the centuries. That's you know, a buffoon does not lead a nation like that. So all of this is in process. We always tend to look at the intel in relation to our own selfish desire to get into the bank and become wealthy, which just, it colors everything that we say. So all that said, I mean, I heard this morning we were going to get the word this afternoon, and it came from a fairly reliable source. Whose source is very reliable. I heard that too.
So who knows? Yeah, so who knows? You know, it's just
the only thing I will say, and I say it to everybody, because I've got friends who are in real trouble, getting their houses taken away from them, things like that. And the one great thing is, at least over the past few weeks, all of the intel is positive. Just the only negativity out there is when, it's all lining up. But there's little individual snipers out there who want attention. But the bottom line is that the major intel providers are all saying the same thing. So we must be very close. And
well, the timeline too that was said we haven't reached yet for today.
Right. Yeah. Okay. The only thing I was going to add, and then I was going to shut up, is I'm actually now getting scared about post-RV issues. The reality of having this much money is starting to hit me.
There's a lot of things you got to do to protect yourself.
Yep. And also the responsibility of the paying it forward aspect is a tremendous responsibility. It's not. You cannot approach it lightheartedly. You can't. It demands that you become someone you have not been.
This is the thing. People think that the hard work is getting the money. The hard work is keeping the money and knowing what to do with it and protecting yourself from the government. That's the hard part.
Yep. Yeah, and it's foreign to people who grew up in the United States, who believe that the government is supposed to be for us. The banks are supposed to be for us. Everybody's supposed to be. So we're in the good guy. We're in the good guy nation, and it turns out we're not in the good guy nation.
It's totally the opposite now.
Yeah.
So true, Iko. So true. Okay, Iko, are you good there, bud?
Yeah, I'm fine. I put in my little.
So you'll hang with us, because
I will hang. Yes.
We're going to need
you.
Here.
I'm waiting for the good stuff.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with Wolfie's next. Go, Wolf.
Wolfie, you're unmuted.
Okay. Hey there, everybody. Blondie. Sometimes I have to pick my child up from school, and I don't get in here till late, and I've told that to Jerry. So my apologies for not being here at the front of the call, but I was on the road.
No, hey,
that's okay.
I'm not busting your bib overalls. Blondie is.
I know.
No, I'm just wondering, did you put your teeth in when you went to pick him up?
My teeth?
I'm kidding you, sweetie.
I got my teeth. I borrowed those things from George Washington. I tried to take care of those things. They're made out of wood,
We're just doing a quick roundup here.
Man, I don't wear them. I don't wear them just anywhere. I mean, I take care of them. I got to savor the flavor. I use those strictly for roadkill.
Okay.
Give it to us, Wolfie.
All right. Don't have anything very much more to say than what I already said. I'm still waiting for 100% verification on the rates being set. My cousin is he's just a common everyday Joe, and of course he does have good teeth probably, but he's just a common everyday guy that just with the time difference over there that it is here, he don't call me every day, and so anyhow, I haven't heard from him for a couple of days now. He's not going to call me and tell me something if there's not something there to tell me, and I appreciate him for that. So he's not going to make up or elaborate something, whatever else. If it's not there, it's not there. What he's doing is he's trying to get to the people that he knows that he can trust to get a real verification off these rates and what they really are. And, because we heard, and he said from the people coming in, that it was set, and so, but we want to know what, at what rate exactly, and he's trying to find that out. As soon as he finds that out, he'll definitely give me a call. But he calls me late at night and at his time, which is 2:30, 3 o'clock here Eastern for me. So he didn't call me at 2:30, 3 o'clock, so he's not going to call me today. So I won't have any further word until I hear from him tomorrow around that same time. But he is trying to clarify. Yeah, he's trying to get a clarification on that. He's wanting to get it down to he's wanting to get it down solid for us to where he can say yay or nay, one way or the other, and if it is, what exactly it is to the penny. So that's what he's trying to do for us.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Wolf. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next, and Shay, our special guest, Shay, we're just going through our guest hosts, and then we're going to get to you. You're going to be the next person. So next, Black Eyed Pea, do you have any comments, any news?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Okay, great. Hope everybody's doing well. I really want to highlight the culmination of this thing. You all must remember there are a lot of March dates being bannered around the end of February 28th, March 1st. I got some information earlier, and I really haven't vetted it out yet, but there were supposed to be some dignitaries in Iraq on March 1st. And if there should be an article somewhere about it, so I have not looked. But that is no small feat. If they are meeting there, I'm sure they're not meeting to talk about the hamburgers and fries.
Exactly.
Okay, so, but I want to ask our guests, we have talked about the WTO for a minute, and with Iran and Iraq trying to ascend there, have you heard anything about them trying to make that date with the currency needing some kind of value before the 90 days?
First of all, I want to comment on your comment about the dignitaries being there on March the 1st. That is so true, and what you said is accurate. They're not going there to talk about what's going to happen. They're going there to talk about what has already happened and shake hands and congratulate. That's what they're there for. As far as the WTO goes, yes, they have to have an international tradable currency 90 days before that specific date. So that's coming up, like this week or next week is when they're saying that they're going to be done with that. You're right.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. And Blondie, we've talked about this. Whatever we see printed, it's already done. If they're reporting news, that was the thing about Mountain Goat and different ones that's writing articles. That stuff is already done. It's been done, but so we're trying to weave through that maze to find out, how far into this thing it really is. But yeah.
Let me talk about Mountain Goat. Mountain Goat is government, and that person is just throwing out disinformation. Half the time, it's not even that person posting. There's 2 or 3 different people that post under that person. So you got to be careful reading the stuff on the blogs, because a lot of times it's just thrown out there to get for disinformation.
Special caller, would you consider Dr. Clark to be an alter ego to Mountain Goat?
I have heard that. I can't comment about that, but I can tell you that I have heard that, and I believe it. A lot of people in the past, as long as I have been in this, a little over 8 years, what they do is when they post on them blogs and then things go south, then they come back under a different name. Is what they do. I've seen this time and time again with people coming back under a different name, and so I would agree with you. Yes.
Special guest, this is Iko. I just want to say that you have vindicated me. I've been saying Mountain Goat was that exact entity for the past 2 years.
Yes.
And I'm real happy somebody of authority just verified it. So
yes,
that's great. You just made my day.
Yeah, my people say don't even read them blogs, because most of it's just recap. Is all it is. It's recaps, but it's crap that's been changed and put out there, so we call it recap. That's the truth.
That's good.
Oh, and I want to say this, and I want to say this. Today's call, we've got 55 minutes before we wrap it up, because it's not going to be a 2-hour call, an hour and a half, and then we're done. Blondie?
Okay, Beep, are you finished? Are you good there, Beep? Black Eyed Peas?
Yeah, I'm good. That's all I had. I'm great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Okay, Imperium, you're up. If you have anything, you dear sweet
where's
man.
he at? Hold on. I got to find him because he was pretty noisy and I had to mute him. I think it's right there. Oops,
Imperium,
sorry.
you're up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything to contribute at this point, but I'm here just for the phone call, and I'll be here.
Thank you, sweetie.
Are you here to apply bandages to Jerry when they need to be changed?
Actually, I asked him to be here to pick me up after I get beat up when this call's over.
Listen.
Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I have I can only be here till about 4:40 New York time.
Okay, we're going to try to get through this.
Okay. All right, let's go for it. You're welcome.
We love you, sweetie.
Okay, bring in that wonderful 4-lettered word, Shay. We need the 411. Come on down wherever she's at.
But wait, Art.
What?
Art, is Art the last one we have to get through?
Okay.
I know nothing. We're waiting for notifications. That's where we're at, really. That's what we understand we're just looking for. So, I don't know who it was, just said this afternoon sometime, and that's really about where we're at. Information's kind of drying up a little bit.
Thank you, Art.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Art. So, Jared, go ahead with Shay.
Well, first off, I guess I'm going to call her my personal doctor because I've ripped the Band-Aid off, and it's up to her to heal the wounds with her knowledge and healing words. Shay, come on down.
Well, hello. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for inviting me to your call. I praise God for the opportunity, and I don't count it lightly at all. And hopefully, your wounds are not too deep.
Snow tires with snow treads with the steel studs hurt. So heal me over here,
gosh.
please. Please get to the point.
Okay.
All right.
Well, tell me first. Miss Blondie called me. And we talked last night briefly a little bit about a couple things that you guys wanted to discuss. One being, I guess, what a multi-currency account is and how they work. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, let me ask just a couple of questions. I want to probably take it out of the line. Can we as U.S. citizens have an MCA account with foreign currency?
At some financial institutions, yes. They all of them do not offer that service. So you would have to find out which banks will provide that. And I can tell you right now that is not something that is very common in the marketplace. Wells Fargo do not offer that service. Chase doesn't offer that service. But PNC does, and so does Citibank. And so it's not something that's very common, that you can have. And even the ones that are being offered at Citibank is different than the one that is offered at PNC. Wells Fargo has an account that deals with foreign currency. It's called ExpressSend. It's nowhere near the type of account that you and most of the people are referring to. So yes is the answer, but you would have to find the right financial institution that will do what it is that you're looking to do.
So it's kind of a yes, but a no. But what I'm getting at is it's not illegal for U.S. citizens to have an MCA account with foreign currency. That's the biggie. No. I got tire treads up my butt.
It is not illegal. That is something that you would just, like I said, have to explore and find out who has it available, and then if it is the kind of an account that you are wanting to have. And I'll give you an example. Say, for example, you with PNC, this is how theirs work. If you have one account, let's say two currencies, you have a currency that is in euro and then one in USD. Now that account, you may have $100 in the one that has USD in it, and it may have 100 euros in the one that is specified for that, but you have one account number. That is considered a multi-currency account. If you're using US dollars, it's only going to pull from the USD side of it. It's not going to. So if you write a check in for $110, and if that account does not have what they call a sweep account attached to it, that means that that account is not going to, you're going to bounce a check because it's only going to pull out $100. So if you write a check for $150, it's going to bounce. You're going to you, I have $200 in the account, but actually you don't. You have 100 USD and you have 100 euros. But if there is a sweep account attached to it, it will pull from the euro side to cover that check. So that's how that account works with PNC. So I would not necessarily say that you can just go and put in a bunch of different currency. Those currency have to be specified and designated. And I don't know if you can have more than two at a time. So it is set up specifically for those that travel, to countries that they're doing business, in euros and also doing business in USD. Now, for Citibank, now they have a true multi-currency account whereby you can put a number of foreign currencies in that account. They typically set it up for their customers who are constantly traveling all over the world, who need access to foreign currencies when they're in those countries and they want to use whatever the country's currency of choice is where they are. If you go to Haiti, they also will allow you to get currencies in a couple of different countries. You can get the Haitian dollar as well as the USD if you are wiring funds over there. But that's not the same. All three of those are different. So the multi-currency account with Citibank, to me, if you're talking about putting multiple currencies or would like to have an account that has different currencies in it, it will be one account, multiples, and I believe that's what most people are trying to figure out. Can I just have, XYZ, currency in this account and this and blah, 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 blah. I still would have you to call that country's currency. I'm sorry, somebody just texted me, threw me off. I still would call the bank and then find out how that account would work for you and what you're trying to do, because it still may not work with what you're trying to do, depending on what you're trying to do. Okay? But yes, you can be a citizen and open up those accounts.
Shay,
Thank
it's Eiko. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I think what everybody really wants to know is if they buy yuan after we exchange, it's been put out that we should put it in a multi-currency account. That's not what I'm hearing from you. I'm thinking that what we want is a very special account for a very special purpose, and that is to hold hundreds of millions of yuan in a United States bank. I think that's the question everybody wants answered.
No, that's not going to be something that I would say a yes to, that's going to be an easy, you're just going to go to the bank and say, hey, I would like to have these currencies held in this account. That's not an easy task. I don't know any such accounts that are available, especially with the banks in which we're talking about doing business with, that they would have that available to you to do. So I know.
So that's probably a private banking issue that needs to be resolved post-RV.
Well, yeah, well, I still don't know if it'll be available even in the private banking division, as well, or even on the brokerage side. I'm not sure if that is something that will be available to the, unless it's something that's coming up the pike,
Yeah.
because
I think that just made a lot of people nervous.
I got a
speak
question.
up on this for a second?
I've got a question. Are you talking about brokerage accounts, Shay?
Well, this is on the banking side. I haven't said anything about the brokerage side. Unless it is something that they have available on the brokerage side, I don't know. I was only asked about multi-currency accounts on the banking side. Now, on the brokerage side, I haven't heard that either, that was available. I called the bank. I talked to some of my friends today with Chase and at Wells Fargo, and they both said no. So I'm not sure if any other financial institution out there that has that would have that available on their brokerage side. I'm not sure. Citi, I checked them on the bank side. That's what they have. PNC, that's what they have. On the brokerage side, I do not know that that's something that's available.
Jerry, I'm going to interject something in a conversation I had last evening about, from someone we all know, but I'm not going to say who it is, okay, that we could buy Chinese CDs. There's a couple of banks in the country where you actually can buy a Chinese CD where it is yuan, and the rate of return was 3 to 4%, and they go from a 12-month period. And that was very interesting. I mean, that's a great interest rate, and that it is backed by yuan, not U.S. dollars. I'm just throwing that out there. And this came from an excellent source. So, Shay, do you have any comment on that? Are you aware of that?
Being able to buy and have it backed by foreign currency?
A Chinese
CD?
A Chinese yuan CD.
A Chinese yuan CD?
Is
that, and where are they buying it from, a U.S. bank?
Bank of China.
Bank of China, of course. Right. See, that I can understand it, and I can see that, that's happening. But if it is a U.S. bank, then I wouldn't be able to say that that's something that I could see happening. But if it is from Bank of China, yeah.
Okay. And Shay, I don't want to put you on the spot here, and if you don't want to address this, that's fine. Okay. But when I first became acquainted with you, so to speak, you had such great insight on the Zimbabwe situation.
Okay.
Would you mind addressing what your knowledge is about that? Because I think there's a lot of people here that are concerned, and I think you could allay some issues with that.
Okay. Zimbabwe dollars, specifically, I think what I've been hearing a lot lately is that a lot of people are concerned about the series and if they're going to be acceptable or not, if they have, anything other than the AA series. And just to bring a level of comfort to you, I would say yes, that they are acceptable, and that the only thing that I would be concerned with I wouldn't be concerned with about the series at all. If it's an A or an AA or an AB or a BB, if they're identical in nature, the bank all they're going to do is just authenticate it, just to make sure it's real. They're not going to go around making sure that, let me look at the series on it. even in our money, when we take, if you look at your dollar bills, some of them have the letter D on it, some of them have the letter E on it, some have the letter A on it. Those alphabets that are on there tells you which Federal Reserve Bank that money was printed from. So it's not going to be, we're only going to take those that are, $1 bills with the letter A on it. Well, that just simply says that those are the ones coming out of New York. Not that, and the ones that are coming out of St. Louis has a different letter because it's a different location. So I wouldn't worry about the series in that regard. You're looking at a currency. You want to make sure that the currency you have is authentic. That's it.
So Shay, basically what you're saying, I had no idea about that, about where those letters were, the location where it was printed. So you're just saying, the only concern is if it's counterfeit.
That's all. That's all I
would.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't worry about that not one bit. It's like this. When you're printing a lot of money, everything can't have all double A's anyways if you're going in sequence. If you're going to keep printing and printing and printing, at some point you're going to run out of letters and numbers and you got to go to another series. So, I mean, it's like,
Well, that makes perfect sense. What's going to be a 20-hour conversation, you put it down there in 30 seconds. Thank you.
Yeah. You're so
Thank
welcome.
you very much. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now, Shay, can you stick with us here? We're going to kind of go to the next whatever. Jerry, go ahead. Jerry, are you with me? Okay, I think he abandoned me again. Art,
I haven't abandoned you. I was doing dishes, okay? I am the consummate house husband because I don't want to say the B word to offend somebody.
Well, make sure you do the toilet last, okay?
I'm going to do that with the mic open, okay?
Anyway, go, Jer.
You know what? Do we want to take callers?
Yeah. Unless I see someone on here who I don't recognize as a host, and I'm not sure.
Which one would that be?
That would be the Austin, Texas 512.
That's okay. I know what that one is.
Peeps? Okay.
That's my peep. That's my peep.
I just don't want to not have somebody who's in as a guest not get to say their spiel.
I understand. So here we go.
Okay. Go ahead.
Kent, Ohio, 330. Come on down.
Hi guys.
That's
this is
you.
Jerry. How's everybody doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, guilty, I think. I was going to say I wanted to talk. Guilty of good. Everybody associates guilty as bad, but it's guilty of good. That's all. I have a question about annuities and the MCA accounts. Why would you need an MCA account that if I have done my research and looked at all the Wells Fargo branches that they're owned by China right now? They're 95% owned by China. That's why they're the lead bank, and that they've taken all of the derivatives out. That they've actually paid for derivatives, so we're not even worried about derivatives being taken off of any other bank account you go to, say like a Chase Bank or whatever. So why wouldn't everybody go to the Wells Fargo branch and if you leave money in the bank, why couldn't you have it as a part of your negotiations to say that you want insurance from the big old Britain company, the British company, the Lloyd's of London. So all your funds are actually secured by Lloyd's of London.
Well, I think that we should defer that question to ICO, but I'm not so sure that Lloyd's of London is that solvent just Blondie's opinion here, that insurance issue may not, Lloyd's of London may not be the way to go. And I think this is something that we're going to have to wait to figure out after the fact. But I think ICO should.
Yeah. Blondie, if you don't mind, I just want to remind everybody that this has actually come up a number of times before, and that's that we're trying to project what we know in the old banking system and structure. We're projecting that forward because that's the only context we have. And if we stop and think about it, that may not be accurate. We have no idea. What this gentleman just suggested about going into a Wells Fargo bank, assuming that China is as invested in Wells as we hear that they are, okay, then it would be easy to open an account and have if you want to direct some of your assets, that you can have a percentage of it put in various currencies of your choice. That's quite possible. Of course it is, on the more private side of the banking.
And that's really true, that we don't even know how this is all going to change. So
yes, exactly. See,
thank you for bringing that up.
It happens all the time, and it's very natural. It's just habituated thinking because that's our realities. That's the context that we think within. Yeah. And it doesn't mean I still believe it's prudent to remember those old ways, but when it comes down to it, we really don't know how it's going to look like and what it's going to be. It'll be a transition for everybody. Okay, that's it.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, sweetie. Okay,
could I
have a comment on that?
Could I add something to that, please?
Wolfie,
can I add to that?
If you say pretty please with a cherry on top, you can.
Oh, pretty please.
Oh,
with
my God.
I cater to Blondie. Jerry, I'm sorry. I just love her to death.
Okay, so now you get to do whatever you want, Wolfie.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
I was talking to my wealth manager at the bank where I go, okay, and I was talking to them about all the same thing that's just being discussed. Here's what they told me. My wealth manager said, in not so many words, but she said, when this thing comes out, and I mean, my wealth manager owns currency, so she's very well aware of all this. So it's not something she's speaking out of turn on. She knows. So she said that when all of this comes about, that people are worried about certain things, about can we do this? Is the bank structured for that? And she says, but what people don't understand is the banks will change the rules to accommodate the things that's going to go on. So things are not going to stay the way they are now. Things will change. And she told me that. She said, we will upgrade whatever it takes to accommodate whatever it takes. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Things are not going to remain the same, even in the bank institutes. I mean, if things are going to change, they'll change the rules with it.
Thank you, because I was getting ready to bring that in.
True.
Oh, all right.
Oh.
We've got 30 minutes. There's 30 minutes left. Let's make the best time of it. So we're gonna do this, sir.
Yeah.
It's we're gonna kick you to the curb. Thank you for your question. We're going on to the next one.
Okay, thank you. You guys have a good day.
All right. Here we go. There's two of you from Lake Charles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the last four of your phone number when I unmute you, so not everybody talk at once here. So in Lake Charles, the last four that I'm picking is 7761. You're unmuted. Come on down.
Yes, if I could pass mine over to the other number, Lake Charles number, because she has more information about what I would like to talk about.
All right. Well, I'm gonna mute you and put your hand down and go with her. Here we go. Next, Lake Charles, ma'am, you are unmuted. Please come on down.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, hi. Thank you for taking my call. Let's see, I'm driving. You caught me off guard, actually.
It's the other guy's fault.
It's always his fault. I want to talk about the MCAs. I'm going to pull over a little bit. I actually have 2 MCA accounts. I am an individual. What the guy said yesterday about multi-currencies not being available to individuals for U.S. banks is partially true. There are some U.S. banks that will allow, just like Shay said, will allow an individual account for MCA, and then there are others that will not. And it's just based on what they prefer not to do. I have Chinese yuan in 2 multi-currency accounts at U.S. banks that cater to the Asian community. So it is available, and it would be better if everyone who are interested in opening up a MCA account to go ahead and open one up ahead of time because it's a process. You know, it takes a few days or a couple of days. So that's mainly what I wanted to bring in.
Anything else?
From me, that's it. I just wanted to make people aware that it is available.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your input, because all callers make this call. You just allow Blondie and I to be MC hosts. So I'm going to go ahead and mute you and put your hand down and go on to the next caller, which would be Rockstar, but we don't want to talk to him. We've talked to him enough. And that's here we go. Special caller, do you have something for us? I can hear you.
Yes, I'm here. Are you talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. One thing I wanted to touch on was what I've been told from all my people is that everything that's been discussed on these multi-currency accounts is accurate, but we've been told that they're mainly offshore. As far as, you know, like most of our money is going to be offshore in accounts like that, but it won't be over here. The second thing that I wanted to touch on was the Wells Fargo thing. The guy that talked about 95% of was owned by China. That is correct. HSBC is the one through China that bought Wells Fargo, and now they own all of it. So I just wanted to touch on that. So, and if there's any other questions, I can answer those too.
So when we've when I make this comment, you know exactly where I'm. Like, I'm going to mute you out for just a second. I'll bring you back in. Okay. When I make this next comment, you're going to know where it came from. What we've been told, when this goes down, to immediately get into the yuan and as much as you can get into the yuan. And
that's right.
If we can't do an NCA account, how are we supposed to get over into something like that to protect ourselves? What's our options?
Right.
If you can.
Well, here's what I know about this. As soon as this thing goes down, because of a specific place that I'm involved with most of my foreign currency, 90 to 95% of everything that I'm getting is offshore anyway. But I have to fly to these countries and open up multi-currency accounts in these countries. And yes, I've been told, as soon as this happens, immediately get to the yuan and get to the Swiss immediately, and Singapore. And so what I would recommend is the second you do your exchange, and if you're doing it at Wells Fargo, you're going to be fine, because Wells Fargo is now owned by HSBC, and they're going to be able to tell you how to get into these different countries, the multi-currency account. They're going to be able to tell you all that. But my recommendation is the second you get your exchange done, you get to other countries and get some money in other countries in multi-currency accounts.
Do you think that Wells Fargo at the exchange or shortly thereafter, since they're owned by HSBC, will be able to do what we want, or are we going to have to go the route you're talking
Absolutely. About? No, absolutely. I'm only saying that for me because 90 to 95% of what I'm getting is offshore anyway. So yeah, absolutely. Wells Fargo is going to take care of you. They are. They'll be able to because they're offshore. Most of their banks are offshore anyway. So other than, Wells Fargo here.
At our exchange here, do something like just haven't let us know about it yet because they don't want the rules to get out just yet.
Correct.
Okay. Now, Rockstar number 1 has a question. Come on in, Rockstar.
Yeah, can you clarify what you mean when you say most of what I'm getting is offshore?
Ooh. I can't go into detail on that.
No. Negative, Iko.
Negative. Okay.
Iko, I'm sorry. I wish I could, but I can't. Maybe on a private call I could, but I just can't.
Yeah, I'll find out. Okay, thanks.
Special caller, will you have a little time to 20 minutes when this call's over?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Iko, we'll be calling. All right. Okay. Let's see. Our anything else, special caller, that you can share with us?
Mainly, we're just literally. We're getting ready to approach the time that I was told to look for. So we're just waiting. Everything's done. We are literally just waiting. I have another conference call from Asia at 6:00 tonight. So, we're literally just waiting. That's all this is. Everything is done.
Cool. Thank you. Well, we're going to go to our next caller, and I'm really going to butcher this name terrible. No, I'm not. That's not the one. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Is out in West Grove, Pennsylvania. I'm going to call it Pavarotti, but that's not how you...
Pavi. Jerry, it's Pavi. He's on all the time. It's Pavi.
Hey, how you doing?
It's who? Pavi.
Can you hear me? Yes, Pavi. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Pavarotti. We got you.
That's funny you said that. That's a nickname I have gotten in the past. I wanted to.
Do you listen to Pavarotti, Jerry, when you're drinking Blue Moon? I find that just a very.
It might be in his head. He listens to it.
I'm sorry, Pavi. Go ahead.
One of my sources had suggested something for me because I ran into the same thing when I talked to Wells Fargo about buying yuan, and they said as soon as the exchange happens, they could be very flexible on what we could do, but they couldn't do anything until after the exchange or talk about it. But one of my sources suggested that in order to buy yuan or Swiss francs or anything else, we could become a foreign currency dealer. And what that takes is assets of over $1 million, which I think we're going to have after the exchange. So we could go buy them directly from the source, and that would solve a lot of problems. And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, sir. Very
You're
informative.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for letting me speak. And you guys are doing a great job. And Jerry, I don't think you need too many Band-Aids. I think you're doing fabulous. I think you really, stuff like that happens all the time. So I think you rebounded great.
Well, thank you, sir. The good Lord made me durable. He doesn't let me heal quick enough. So those studs and them snow tires do leave a mark.
Well, that gentleman came in.
Especially when you have the hammer coming after you.
He sounded like he really knew what he was talking about, and unfortunately, sometimes the devil sounds exactly like he knows what he's talking about, and we fall short and listen. But when you step back a little bit and kind of gather your sources, like everybody in the group did, and kind of threw out a whole bunch of information, it kind of didn't sit right with me either. So I thank you for saying what you did and following up on it.
I want to say this. I'm not throwing anybody underneath the bus. Just sometimes information is a little more current than others, and what the gentleman brought in applies some. It was just not all of it. So, and it's everybody's opinion, and that's what we're here about. But that's why I'm now buying a Kevlar full body suit to help protect me from the snow treads, because it's going to happen again. It is. That's just the nature.
That's why Mountain Goat, sometimes when I used to follow Mountain Goat 6 months ago, it was so believable because, she or he would speak such great information, and you would feel like, wow, this is good. And then later on they would say things like the the Federal Reserve is never going to go away, and we're never going to go back to gold back. And I'd say, wait a minute, that's contradictory. And then Mountain Guy would say, oh, there's no such thing as a GCR. It's only about Iraq. So at that point, I realized that there was a lot of bull going on.
Right. Well, thank you, Pavarotti.
Thank you. You're doing a great job, and I'm so grateful for the information. And I'll get out of here.
All right.
Thanks, Bob.
Daytona, because the 500 is this Sunday, and I'm going to let you talk as long as you say that the 24 car is going to win. Okay? Anything less than that, I'm probably going to have to mute you there, Daytona. Daytona Beach, you're up.
Oh, dishes going on there.
Okay, well, now we're going to go across the U.S. to Hayden Lake, Idaho.
Appreciate you guys letting. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I appreciate you letting me get on, and thank you guys for all you do. There's been a lot of talk about buying yuan after we are able to exchange and the MCA accounts. My question is, why couldn't we just buy yuan and just hold it personally? Because obviously we're waiting for the revalue of the,
I can answer
go
that.
asset back.
I can answer that question for you. One, when you go to exchange, it's a must that you must exchange into USD. Second, if you want to hold yuan, we're going to talk about a bulk problem here. So you have the biggest note that the yuan has is 100, and you want $1 million of that. The stack is a couple feet tall. So think about that. How much bulk space is that going to take up? So I hope that helped you out.
Well, and here's the other issue, Jerry, and this hasn't been addressed yet. And maybe our special caller or Shay can answer this one. The gentleman on the call yesterday said it's illegal for us to have over $10,000 in foreign currency in our possession.
Incorrect.
Help us out, ma'am.
Shay, did you say that's incorrect? Oh, please go, Shay.
Yes.
Enlighten
Okay.
us.
First of all,
that's absolutely incorrect.
That's incorrect. That is not true
That's
at
incorrect.
all. First of all, people have to realize that foreign currency is a market, period. Whether you're holding it physically in your hand or you're trading it online, foreign currency is a market. This is not anything new. It's money. But also, let me explain this to you.
Stop.
The currency most of us are holding, other than two, are really not live anyways. They're considered collector's items. So I wouldn't worry about it anyway. So
I need the
moment
totals
it becomes
on those bills.
live,
on the
special caller.
We muted you for just a
Go
second.
ahead,
I'll bring you back in.
okay.
Go ahead.
So the currency most of us are holding anyways are not live, other than the Vietnamese dong and the rupiah. Those are the two actively trading currencies. Other than that, you're holding a collector's item anyways. So when it becomes live, because your collector's item became live again, they're gonna hold you as being illegal? Absolutely not. But again, foreign currency is a market. It's just like any other forex. Whether you do the only difference is instead of you doing the exchanges online electronically, you're holding the physical item in your hand. That's it. And it is
Would
not
you compare it to like a stock certificate?
A stock
Shay,
note.
No. You hold, if you have a stock certificate for 1,000 shares of IBM and you have it in your possession, that's not illegal.
No,
So
it's not illegal, period.
Is that similar?
No, what you have is money. You have money in your hand. And that's what people need to realize, that the money you hold, we call it currency because that's the legal term, but what you have is, this is my money. You have money in your hand.
All right. Shay, I'm going to bring back in special caller.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, Shay.
Special caller, you're unmuted
welcome.
again.
Yeah, exactly what Shay is saying is absolutely true. There is nothing illegal about foreign currency. Nothing. And if someone's saying that, they're just full of it, because there's no truth in that at all.
Okay, we're gonna go to Hayden. If you have another question, we're just down to. You know what? Let me take one more caller here. Hayden, I apologize. I'm going to mute you out here. I hope that answered your question. Okay.
Not a problem.
Last caller of the day is Warren Robbins. Warren Robbins. I think we've picked you before. Warren Robbins, Georgia, 478. Hello. Warren.
Hello.
Robbins.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you?
Yes.
Can
Go
you hear
ahead.
me? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Well, I just had a question about if you have other entities when the reval occurs and you have an attorney firm taking care of that that's going to be offshore, will that take care of your multi-currency accounts? Or do you still have to personally go over to whatever country you want to do it in to set up those accounts yourself?
I can't answer that. Maybe special caller can.
What was the question again?
Okay, if you have special entities to do offshore banking and you reval.
You mean like LLCs? LLCs?
Yes.
Okay.
And some other entities, and you have an attorney firm that takes care of that for you, and they are, we'll just say for a better term, the trustee, and they open the accounts for you. Is that where you can have your multi-currency accounts done?
This is my opinion. This is just my
Okay.
opinion, okay? I would say yes, because that's the same thing that I'm doing. So
Okay.
I'm going to say yes to that, but again, that's in my opinion.
Well, I just haven't talked to my specific firm at this point because I wanted to hear what the call today said before I got on there with him.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you
All
for
right.
the information.
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much. Okay. This is pretty much going to do it for the day. I hope that everybody has gotten more out of it than what we had yesterday with that little snow tread event.
Jerry?
Yes, Blondie.
Okay, I just want to do a little summation here. And we kind of talked about this, before the call, about this whole MCA thing, bringing this up at this point. Here's just my opinion. Don't worry about your MCA account, folks. Get in there and get your exchange done. Then worry about this MCA thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on. Special caller, did you have something to say?
Exactly what she said is absolutely spot on. Exactly what she said. Don't worry about it. Wells Fargo, as long as you're exchanging at Wells Fargo, they're going to take care of everything and all those questions. Exactly what she said is spot on. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, special caller. And so with that being said, let's just get the exchange done, and as what IMP and ICO and special caller have said, all of this stuff is going to change. So we're not playing, we don't have all the pieces to the puzzle. We're not going to get them till after the fact. So don't lose any sleep over it. Just let's get the exchange done. And I sound like a broken record, but it's kind of one that you like to keep on hearing, isn't it? Just kind of relax about this. Be calm. Go in there. Get your exchange done. All of this stuff is going to be on the table after the fact. Just go in and get your exchange done. Relax. And we all think it's like right here, right at the doorstep. And again, I think this MCA account thing just stirred up a lot of
Okay, well, hold on.
But I won't.
Wolfie has a parting comment, and then we're getting ready to shut this down.
Wolfie.
I just wanted to clarify again what I said a few minutes ago about what my wealth manager told me. You can throw the rules out the door. When this thing takes place, it's a whole new world, a whole new ball game. The things around us and the things in the bank, the multi-currency accounts, anything that we have is all going to expand. They're all going to change. It's not anything going to be like it is now. So I just want to throw that back in there. I remind everybody that's what I said. My wealth manager told me it's going to change. So don't worry about it. Go do your thing. Get your money in the bank. Go exchange. Do whatever. And then the bank will work with you on the new deals.
Thank you, sir.
Wolfie, thank you.
All right.
And I'm sorry that I didn't mention you in that, because yes, you absolutely have said that numerous times. And I love you, fur baby.
Here we go. Blondie, I'm going to mute. Everybody's muted out except for me, because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop the recording.